Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome to another video on the channel. Updated post-patch 4.2.3.1 tactics. You guys have been asking for these, so here I am with them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please smash that subscribe button. We're so close to getting to 40,000 subscribers and I need your guys' help to get there. Smash the like button. The support recently has been crazy. So yeah, the 4.2.3.1. One of the most meta popular formations and tactics every single year on FIFA. And it is a beast again this year. It always will be. It just is so solid and balanced overall. It's got such good options for keeping the ball. It's got really nice attacking patterns with the cam, the striker, the lamb and the ram. There's not really a FIFA where the 4-2-3-1 will not be a good formation. There's FIFAs where it might not be quite as dominant. And honestly this year it's not my favourite, because I love having two strikers, especially with the through ball meta on this game. But there are some strengths in this formation that you won't really find elsewhere for the most part. And whilst it might not be my favourite formation to play, it is still a very good top tier formation. Lots of people love it. Lots of people suit the game style. So I'm here with an updated tactic to help you guys. Now, these tactics post-patch aren't drastically changing. This might have been, genuinely, in my 6 years of full-time FIFA content creation, the most game-changing, drastic patch I've ever seen to the game. And I'm really not exaggerating. If you've watched my guys' content, I don't bullshit, I don't exaggerate things. I've done this for 6 years now, and I've never seen a patch like this. We've gone from lengthy players being the meta up front, barely being able to dribble, and just explosive controlled players feeling really sluggish and slow, to me wanting to use Cordoba at centre-back over Van Dijk, me wanting to use explosive and control players everywhere. It is crazy. And the tactics and way we play have to be updated and tweaked to that. So I'm going to show you my defensive and attacking version of the 4-2-3-1. I'm going to explain what type of player should use which. I've made quite a different change actually to my more attacking one compared to the usual tactics I make. And I'll explain the tweaks to my tactics and how to play post-patch on FIFA 23. So let's get into it. And before people start saying, oh, anyone can play with that team Zel, yes, this is an insane team. I'm well aware of that. But I've hit rank 1 every weekend on this account and a Road to Glory account that I didn't spend a penny on. So I've been doing it every week. I've done it on new gen, I've done it on old gen. I've been using the same tactics quite often on both accounts. I don't really tweak them too much. I don't think for the most part tactics really matter too much in terms of the team. By that I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have a 20 mil or a 2 mil team, that the tactics can still be the same and work well. The main thing I would say is some formations are a little bit more suited to pay to win teams, such as the 4-4-2, where there's gaps between there, so you need better players to fill them. And a lot of people ask me about this. What about tactics for old gen? On previous patches, old gen tactics for me would have been a fair bit different. On this patch, this is quite a close game. New gen and old gen are actually quite similar now, in my opinion. Whereas previously, they weren't even in the same stratosphere, to be honest. The type of players you want in this team, striker, honestly now, I would probably be going for someone with high weak foot skill moves, fast and good on the ball with high shooting stats. I wouldn't want to be using players like Haaland now, to be honest. Haaland's still good. Lengthy players aren't unusable, but they're just not as good on the ball. And why would you sacrifice being better on the ball when you don't need to anymore because they're still fast? I'm going to be doing an updated player tier list this week for defenders, midfielders and attackers. I've played about 100 games on the patch, maybe slightly more now, but I know how this game plays now. I've played probably near 1,000 games over the course of this FIFA now. So we're going to do updated tier list now that this patch has dropped and it's probably changed things quite a lot. It'll look a lot different to the previous ones. For the cam, this one's your playmaker. He needs to be able to pass. Skill moves, weak foot, obviously beneficial. The pace is the least important here. Obviously, I've got one of the best players in the game here in Pele. In this formation, the cam is absolutely vital. It might be the most important position in this team. So put your best player there. Lamb and Ram, the weak foot is not as important here. Obviously, it's beneficial to have it. I still think Trivelas are good. They're not as OP. If I can have the outside of the foot shot on a player, then out wide is where it matters most. Someone like the 94 Messi now is going to be outrageous at Lamb. But I've got my Saudi King there, Alawiran. Pace is really good out wide now. Pace can absolutely annihilate people. Some of the goals I've been scoring just by sprinting in a straight line past people are crazy. Alawiron up there for the best lamb in the game right now. At Ram, I've got Ribery. He's got pace. He's good on the ball. Outside the foot shot trait, he's very good for Travellas. For my CDMs, I have one on stay back. That's the better, more defensive one who's maybe not as good going forward. For me, that's the Frankie de Jong Path to Glory here. Absolute beast. If he gets some upgrades, wow, what a card that'll be. Lucas Vasquez, he's kind of just to save coins right now. But he's a pretty good card, to be fair, for 50k. Lucas Vasquez is in the team. He's unbalanced. I'll show you my instructions in depth. And then for the defenders, it's the same standard. You just want high defending, good physical. But a little bit different on this patch. You want higher acceleration, which will reflect in the tier list when we do that. Let's look in the tactic. So we have a defensive and a defensive one. The defensive one isn't that defensive. The only way I think you're really defensive is if you have all your players staying back on defense and you go drop back, low depth, very negative. For me, I'm not quite convinced to go drop back yet. I still think long shots are good enough that if you just go drop back, it invites them a bit too much. And I also think now that people are getting a bit better at the game, and especially now that people can use players who can actually dribble a bit, have higher skill moves. If you go on drop back, it invites almost a little bit too much time and space for people to get into the box with good dribblers, turn and shoot. But I've got low depth. This is one of the main tweaks I've made on this patch. Low depth is important on this patch for me, in my opinion, if you don't want to play a high risk, high pressing style. That is the attacking tactic which we'll show. But for me, lowering your depth is going to help people a lot. Lowering your depth isn't enough. You need to make much more of a conscious effort on this patch to really switch to your centre-backs and cover through balls. This might mean you have to play more passively, which some people really don't like. Some people don't like to be patient, but you will get destroyed by pace and through balls if you have high depth and don't cover the runs. You can play high depth with a more pressing tactic, which I'll show you. So I've got two options here. This is the one that I would recommend for people who want to be more patient, really struggling with pace and through balls in behind, and want a solid formation and tactic that is going to stop them getting rinsed by pace. That's why I'm going for that. For the attacking, I use pretty similar for most of my normal formations. Balanced direct still good for me. I have tried long ball. I have tried forward runs on this patch. I just don't like them as much as balanced and direct. Long ball kind of forces you to only go in behind, which, yes, it can be good. But even with pace being insane, I still want a little bit more freedom to attack how I want. Long ball doesn't really offer that. Direct passing is still great because whilst it does pin the opposition back and make your players make more runs in behind, when it's combined with balanced, it still does give you enough variety to attack how you want. Width, fairly high. I like stretching teams out wide to make more space in the middle. I don't want to go too high on the players in box. If you go too high on this, then it leaves you really vulnerable to counter-attack, so I like it like that. For my striker, because this is a one-striker formation, I've gone stay central on him. In two striker formations, I would generally go, I'd probably go balanced width, but on this one, we're on stay central, stay forward. He's the focal point. This player, it is nice if he's strong and tall to win headers. That will help you getting out of the press, but it's not essential. For the cam, come back on defense. That is all I do for them. We have come back on defense on all three of the cams, the Lam, Ram and Cam. This simply put helps you a lot when defending, makes you a lot harder to break down. But on this patch, you are going to find a lot less people keep the ball and just break you down like that. They're just going to be spamming through balls. Get into the box on the Lam and Ram. This almost helps them at like making runs in behind. My more defensive CDM, stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, cover centre. For my more attacking one, the same, but balanced attack. Stay back on all of my defenders, and then comes for crosses and sweep a keeper on the keeper. For the more attacking one, now listen to this before you try this out. This is one of these high risk, high reward tactics. One of these don't try this at home kids type thing, unless you're feeling brave. On this patch, pressing is more OP in some ways and more of a hindrance in other ways. And by that, it's more OP now that if you win the ball in a dangerous position with the press and catch your opponent off guard, it is a lot easier now with how fast players are to win the ball in a dangerous position, play one pass and you're in on goal. So the press now is almost harder to play against, because if you get in, you are in. So if you will score more goals now with the press, I would say. But on the other hand, now that people can use players who are better on the ball, because explosive control players tend to be better on the ball, and now that pace is more OP, it's a lot easier to get away from defenders. If you press and someone gets out of the press, you are screwed, because you are not catching them, and it is easier to get out the press. So if you want to play this tactic, you have to be prepared. You're probably going to concede more goals, but you're probably going to score more. It's almost like controlled chaos. That's what Jambu said to me, and I do agree with him on that. So don't try this unless you're feeling more risky. But like I said, high risk, high reward. In this formation, we have the width quite high, because when you have the width quite high, it allows you to press and win the ball all over the pitch. It will leave you a little bit more vulnerable to through balls in behind, so do bear in mind that. For the attacking, we're keeping it the same. You could go forward run, so as soon as you win the ball, you counter-attack quick, but I still like the way this is. This formation isn't purely about winning the ball, as in this tactic with press and possession loss. It isn't about just winning the ball back and always go forward. It's just about controlling the game by winning the ball back a lot. Still 4-2-3-1 for it. We are putting getting behind on the striker, because in this formation, if we win the ball back higher up, we want him to get in behind quick. Stay forward on all the cabs, so this is a lot more risky defensively. But if you have them on stay forward, that's going to help you to press their defense. The press is far more OP around their defense, because their defenders are worse at playing with the ball, and if you win the ball back high up the pitch, you can see where I'm getting with, it's a lot more dangerous. So we have all of our attackers on stay forward. That's going to allow us to be a lot more deadly on counter-attacks, press high up, and win the ball back. You can still get your Lamb, Ram, and Cam to come back. They will. And if you find you like the press, but it's too attacking this, you can change it. When I give you guys tactics, I am not religiously saying the only thing you can do is exactly how I've set it up. You can tweak it and change it to suit your team, playstyle, or how you want to play. For the CDMs, it is the same as the previous one. We've still got one on balance just to help the attack a little bit more. I find if you only have your attackers getting forward and two midfielders not getting forward at all, it's a little bit too stagnant, not enough options. And then for the defenders, we have done the same, but we have gone step up. Step up is a very risky tactic to play, because if you get done by a 1-2, or you step up and don't switch properly, you can be in big trouble. But it does do better with the press. That's the way I'd look at it. One thing that is important as well is, if you're playing this more high pressing tactic, you really do have to switch quick and cover things very quick. So bear that in mind. Then for the keeper, comes crosses, sweeper keeper. So there you go. Those are our tactics. We've got two options here. I think this defensive one is more suited to the 4-2-3-1. The strengths of the 4-2-3-1 are keeping the ball, being very solid across the board. You can have everyone except for the striker really sat deep, which is very hard to break down. I think it's good going forward still. On this patch, the Lamb and Ram offer a lot of width. The Cam and two CDMs can keep the ball, and then they can spray it out wide to the fast players. So it does suit the new patch. I do prefer, especially on this new patch with pace being OP, two strikers to link up, especially for like the first time through balls. But this is still a very good tactic and formation that will suit a lot of people and how they want to play. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will be putting out more tactics formations this week. I just need a bit more time to test them. The 4-3-2-1 and the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow are two of the formations I'm looking at. I'm trying to grind as much and put out as much content as I can to help you guys, help you get better post-patch. I appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys a lot. Tune into my stream later tonight. I'll be playing my weekend league. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Peace.